Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone. We're very, very excited to be coming to you for our finale webinar today on how to transition successfully from one-to-one into a one-to-many business. It's great.
I can't believe we got to Fiji so quickly.
I just want to double check, guys, that you can hear us and see the PowerPoint presentation. There's already over 50 of you on the call before we even started. Good that you took my advice and got on earlier because I believe it will be capacity call. Good morning, Andrea. Great to see you. How's the weather at your end, guys? We're expecting 37 degrees here. Hey,
Falling coconuts
Grace.
and everything, we're in trouble.
Yeah, Jerry. Yep, all good. Morning, team Denman. Hey, Taryn up from Queensland. Katrina, Pauline. Crap weather here. Andrea says, up in Queensland, and hot in Adelaide. We're getting across to South Australia, Victor Harbour, actually on the 3rd, Sabotage, and we're going to be staying a week there for our annual, I guess, start of year road trip with the kids. Good morning, guys. Hot in Adelaide from Neil. Great to see you, Neil. I remember Neil being on our call last year this time. So as many of you may know that are on the call, we do this every year on this date. Hey, Amy, we review what happened, what we learned, and what we're about to do next year. And he's saying back again for more. Great to see that. Just before we begin, Stuart and I and the whole family, actually, we've been suffering from a bit of a cough. So if you hear us coughing from time to time, or one of us has to stop talking to have a drink of water, then it's because we haven't been well over
Because our cough button at this end's a pillow, so might not quite have the same deafening effect that a proper mic would do.
Yeah. So, but we're in good spirits, and I know we're going to recover from this. As Andrea said in a Facebook message the other day, she said it's probably because your voice is what you do for your business, and it's clearing during this down period, so you can do it all again next year. And I think that has a lot of that makes a lot of sense to me anyway. So let's get stuck into it. We have so much covered. We did tell you guys that potentially this call will go over an hour, probably about, say, 75 minutes, allowing to make sure that all the questions and comments have been answered, but we'll endeavour to finish all of the content before the hour is up, and then we can just allow for some chit-chat. So it's a fairly casual this time of the year. We're excited to just connect and do this one last time.
What do you mean? You make me wear a tie and then you're telling me it's casual.
Yeah, well, I'm not wearing nothing.
Good on you.
Awesome. So for those of you that don't know us, here's a picture of us recently. Taken about a couple of months ago. Zara has grown into a 13-month-old baby now. Last year she was only 6 weeks old, and the other kids are looking about the same. They're all playing in the other room. Zara's having her one sleep of the day. That is why we set up this call at this time, so we can be both here while the baby's sleeping, unlike last year when we had the luxury of my mum looking after her at her house. So lots has changed from last year to this year, especially with the move of into this new house. Andrea just says, I've got my tiara on. Perfect. All right, so that's us. So you know the voices that are coming from this end, and that was taken at our new home. A little bit of a background, because most of you we do know on the call, but there was a few fresh names that we haven't seen on our webinars, and this is it in a nutshell, basically.
I guess where it's come to.
Where it's come to, yeah. After 5.5 years, next year we'll be celebrating 6 years in business. Very brief sharing of our story is that writing my first book about 12 months into starting into business, it was my turning point, and getting the business to build after that book came out into a 6-figure business in the following 90 days. And subsequently others approaching me and saying, hey, Nat, how do you do this? How did you do it? What did you do? What steps did you follow? And then I realized that there was a demand out there to replicate what I had achieved. So intuitively, what I have done over the last 6 years is just listen to what people are coming to me with, and saying, how do you do that? And then what I basically do is I either write a book, create a program, or create a system around it, and then I put it out there to the marketplace. So it's as easy as that, and that's why I often tell people is like, use your intuition to figure out what is it that other people see in you that they want for themselves, and give them that. As Terry Hawkins says, how do you have the best relationship in your life? Well, ask the other person what they want and give it to them. So that's basically what I have been doing in business over the last 6 years. Listen and adjust and create. However, never, 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 never create before something has been sold, because I'm a big believer you don't do the hard work unless you've been paid for it. A couple of you, just Kid has said no sound. Usually, guys, will get a warning at our end if there is if our sound quality or our internet is dropping out, so we'll know if we have poor quality. So if you're getting dropouts at your end, it's most likely your end. Otherwise, we'll alert you to it, or we'll know to stop talking.
Also, we'll get 18 people writing that there's no sound.
Exactly. And there you go. Pauline said she can hear us perfectly. That's okay. Good. Thank you. Awesome. And we've been in the media. Heaps. I actually cracked it into the corporate speaking market by being in the media, and I've been very blessed that a couple of weeks ago I was invited back to speak at that Palazzo Versace conference that I did last year on social media, and that was super amazing, and I guess something that I don't focus on doing myself, but it's starting to happen a lot more of. So to date, I'm the author of 6 books. We have helped over 100 people through our Ultimate 48-Hour Author Retreats, and our big goal for next year is to double that. So we'll share that in a second. So let's keep going. I think Keith's still having trouble with her internet, so yeah, that's okay. No, Adele is saying, should I be able to see the comments from other attendees? No, you shouldn't, unless they're putting something in a chat box that's going out to everyone. But we're the only ones that can see comments and questions coming through. So please keep them coming through. We love interactive calls. This is what this is all about, and to make sure that we iron out any questions that you guys have. All right, this is a little bit of us, and we can now confidently say that the last 3 years we have lived our ultimate lifestyle, as we like to say, traveling lots, doing lots of fun things, connecting, but also working hard. So work hard and play hard at the same time. So rewind back 18 months ago. Do you want to paint a bit of a picture for them, Stuart?
What it was? Well, last year when we did this, we actually looked back 5 years from right when we started, because it's strange, even though that was 5 years back from where it was, more's changed in the last 18 months, I think, than it did in those first 5 years. Because what we did is we became very clear on exactly what we wanted to be doing. We worked out exactly who we wanted to be working with. We actually introduced, and was probably, what was it, Christmas last year or the year before, when we wrote our No Dickheads policy?
Last year.
So we just became so specific. We identified that we get everything that we enjoy doing from the authoring program, from taking people through that and seeing the changes. But back 18 months ago, it was tough. There was a lot of, we were both working one-on-one. Nat was doing, predominantly as the face of the business and as the number one, as Kid calls us. She's the captain of the team. I'm the vice captain, one that likes to stay quiet in the background. But it was long hours. It was a lot of work, and we were speaking to a lot of people that were in that same position. So we've sort of gone away now from working with people that were, having their first client or their second client from the startups. I think a lot of people in business do go through that stage. At the start, it is working with anybody because if you're too far ahead of that person, they actually can't, they kind of disconnect from you because they can't see it as something that they can achieve. I will share this here. A lot of the times we get comments such as, "Oh, you guys have got it easy. There's 2 of you. Oh, it's very simple. You've got all the help in the world," which is actually BS. We don't have anything. It's just basically Nat's mum can help every now and then. We're both doing our own role. We've got the 3 kids, but I think the difference is that we just don't look for excuses of why we can't do it. We just work out how we can do it. So that's a big one. They were long days. So, finishing up at 11 o'clock at night was a big one.
Yeah, it was really because if you look at it, a lot of you guys know that for those of you that know us, the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Program has actually been running for about 28 months now. But so you're kind of wondering, well, what happened in those 10 months of it? Well, I was juggling both. I was juggling building up that particular program because I couldn't just let go of the core income that was looking after, our life, because Stuart's been out of his day job for 3 years this Christmas. And there's a time, because there's a time of transition where some of you guys may still be in day jobs, let's say, for example. So there's a time of transition between you taking the leap from that day job to working with clients and being full-time in your business. Then there's another type of transition, obviously, which is what we're talking about today, is moving away from one-on-one to one-to-many, and that took a good 10 months to establish. And as I said, I think in my email or the webinar copy, I said that I tried 3 times in the previous 18 months to let go of the one-on-one, but I couldn't, because I knew that you never let go of core until you're fully set up. So there is a period of intensity where you have to work your butt off in both areas to get it to a point where you can go, now I can with confidence say I no longer work with people one-on-one. So Stuart said, maybe to give you my perspective of the story, it was like that I had 25 plus clients on the books, and I tried to squeeze them into Mondays and Tuesdays. So the way I designed my week is that I would work in the business on Monday and Tuesday so that I could have time to work on the business on Wednesday and Thursday. And every day I would finish at 11 p.m. But those first couple of days, it would be like speaking for probably about 13 hours with 15-minute breaks in between at the most. So it was really long. So by the time that Tuesday finished, I would be so brain fried. And however, I had it set up so that I could focus on and build the author program on the Wednesdays and Thursdays, so that I could see, sort of that transition starting to occur. I was pregnant with baby number 3, so Zara was on the way, and that was also a little bit of a push for me to make it really work, because it didn't. I had no choice. I had to let go of one-on-one clients by the time I had baby number 3, because I couldn't have. I could sustain in some way, but definitely not the intensity of what I was doing.
I think you need to get pregnant again, because last time with Mika, the push was the time bound was the book, and also being able to leave the job. The Specsavers job.
Yes.
This time around with Zara, it was to transition from one-on-one to one-to-many and group and everything like that.
Nothing like a baby deadline.
Let's tools are in the shed. Let's keep that away.
Tools are in the shed, yes. But also when we think about one-on-one, it is a very limited earning potential, and it is capped. So and there's only so many people that you can help. And I think we arrive at a point of our business that there's so much demand for people wanting help with us that we have to move that to that one-to-many.
Yeah, one of the things I've seen and worked with a few people over the last 18 months as well is that their belief about the one-on-one is, okay, well, all I'll do is I'll put up my prices and I'll earn more money that way. But you're still giving as much of yourself each time. So you end up still getting drained very, very regularly as well, even if you're charging that little bit more.
Yeah. There's just a comment from Andrula. I'll just read. Love your comment on people thinking you and Nat have it easy because there's 2 of you. We all can get support if we ask for it. It sounds like those people are coming up with excuses. Yeah, Andrula. And for those of you that don't know, Stuart and I have not had a virtual assistant either. And a lot of people who do have VAs actually don't understand how we've done it without one. I'm wanting to train one up now at the end of January for my event management kind of stuff, so that Stuart can do obviously higher quality tasks rather than some of the VA work that he has been doing for us, which is not where his value lies, if you like. Okay, beautiful. Let's keep going. So our why, we're very clear on our why, and that's everything that we're telling you, I guess we want you to reflect upon your situation and how does this fit into your life, and model and design it something for yourself. So our why has not helped changed at all from last year, and we did share this last year. It's and it can change. Number one, it's not to say that I looked at the slides that I did last year and I go, okay, what's different, what's changed, but this particular slide stayed exactly the same. And that's maybe because in the last 12 months, that it's still very much set in stone as to what's so important to us. So all of these things, I mean, I'm not going to read through them bit by bit, but we just want we very much want, number one, to be challenged. I believe, because if we don't have purpose, we tend to die, and that is what having a life with purpose and meaning, and having things to do that you enjoy, high quality things with your family and friends and your clients. I love the time that I spend in all areas, because as I'm sitting here after having now had 2 or 3 weeks off, I'm like kind of getting really excited about next year. I'm starting to miss other people in my network and the clients that I talk to daily and all of that sort of stuff. And I'm really looking forward to getting back into my events and networking, whereas 3 weeks ago I was so exhausted from the whole year having executed and done. We've had a massive year. The breastfeeding schedule of baby number 3, and just trying to coordinate all the travel that I did interstate was really, really a big challenge, but so rewarding to come and sit here on this webinar today and to say, you know what, we did it, and this is what we did. All right, so we're reviewing the goals from 2015. So what happened? This is the exact slide I put up. All I did is in red, I added in what obviously has happened. So we have said buy a new family home that fits the growing happy family while keeping the 2 other properties that we have. And we absolutely did that. And obviously you guys know we're nearly at the end of building our pool. We traveled to Europe for 5 weeks in May, which was, all done. 60 authors to publish via Ultimate 48-Hour Author Retreats. We got to 53, which I think it's massive, because the year before that we were at about 35. So I think that was a massive improvement. And I always say to people, set the goals and stretch them out, because I go, would you still be happy if you achieved about 80% of them? And that was that. We also said that we would do a new retreat. And help more people through our mastermind mentoring program. That became irrelevant in the first couple of months.
It did also because I guess we stopped. That was going to be a startup, basically, retreat to help startups and set up, and therefore, even in those first couple of months from after we did the webinar, we really started to see as that wasn't the spot we were playing in.
Yeah, cool. And then so we then created a 2-day brand accelerator masterclass, which we ran for the first time in October. We had 50 people there, and now we're going to run that 3 times next year, which is a low-entry 2-day program, which is priced at $247. Amazing, transformational 2 days. Actually, some of you on the call today did come in October, and that will become a program that's going to allow us to build more rapport with brand new people that we meet, but also a program that is going to add value and nurture our existing authors. And it really is a program that can be priced easily at $5,000, but it's part of our relationship building and giving back to our community thing. And we did run 2 VIP marketing days at our brand new house, and a 2-day Ultimate Marketing Masterclass, which was a high-end program with Robert Curry that I did. So I did something different. So it doesn't mean it can't change, but you can adjust along the way. Speak at 30 promotional events. Actually, I looked at my calendar and I went back and counted up how many I did, and I spoke at 72 events collectively of my own, other people's, and 50 of them were promotional. So where people had invited me to come along and speak at.
There's that time I turned up at the opening of the envelope.
Yeah. So it was a very big year for events, but wait till you see what I've set for next year. We furthered our publicity reach, absolutely. And I did breastfeed Zara till her first birthday. So that was a big goal that I wanted to achieve, having breastfed 3 babies till they were 1, and that was a big juggle. Just one question's coming from Joe. Will you guys run one of these in Sydney in 2016? No, Joe. I come along to Sydney twice a year to run my introductory event for Ultimate 48-Hour Author, which goes for half a day. The first one will be in February and the second one probably around July. But all of our events, all of our retreats, the longer ones, the 2-day and the retreats, they all happen here in Melbourne, Victoria, simply because our kids are way too little and we don't have that much support to have them looked after for both of us to be away. So everyone flies in and spends some time with us here. Okay, Andrea says, do you suggest setting a limit of how many goals you set? Yes, Andrea, and you do have my planner, as I know. Andrea is my PT as well, so I'm very excited. At the back of your planners, for those of you that don't know, we suggest setting 5 goals for the year. So what I did here for this particular slide, you can kind of see there's like 7 here, but really it's just 5 core ones that I would set. Say traveling to Europe and breastfeeding Zara, which is what I had set there, they wouldn't be like, say, official goals. But the 60 authors was speaking, was our new home was one of the big 5. So I suggest that. Okay, beautiful. Yes, Joe, I do have the date, but not on me right now. It's in my office. Can you please just PM me or send me an email, and I'll send you the date for Sydney, because we are going to start promoting it pretty much as soon as the new year hits. So let's go through 3 things today, why you're here on the call. And the 3 keys to transition from into a one-to-many business. And we like to always do it in a nice, neat way to explain how it happens and how it can happen for you. And that is, we're going to go through the 3 things: test, timing, and that traction to transition. So those are the 3 stages of how I would teach someone or mentor them through moving into a one-to-many business. So let's go through the first one, test. What do you do? Well, number 1 is you need to figure out, is there a demand for what you do in a one-to-many setting? So what I would do is set some low-cost, low-risk events to test the demand around that particular. I'm just going to open up everything.
And it was interesting. We were just talking about this when we were putting this together for you guys. And some of the things that the responses that come up straight away when we're talking to people about this, and can you run it one-to-many? You've got to also understand, is what you're teaching one-on-one with your clients, is it something that works in that group setting? Now, normally the response is yes, absolutely it is, because it's your expertise, you can deliver it in a certain way. But what you may want to do is start tweaking it a little bit. If you're mentoring people on how to have that better relationship with the opposite sex, so you're a dating coach or something like that, and you work them through that normally one-on-one, how are they going to respond to that in a group situation? So maybe you're just going to have to test and measure it a little bit as we came up with this test to see what part of it you can actually teach to a one-on-many, and then also, as Nat will cover off later, where your next step from that one-to-many actually leads to.
Yeah, absolutely. So working at how you would do it, but then trialing, as you guys have heard me say before, is different sexy titles, because one name of an event may attract a lot more people than another name. It just doesn't mean that it doesn't work or what you do, there's no demand out there for it. Actually writing different copy, or even getting someone else to write the copy for you to see if it's going to have a different outcome for you.
And we've spoken a lot about this on other webinars and trainings that we've done for our guys as well. Your target audience might respond better if it's written in the negative rather than the positive. So the mistakes that you will make in dating a woman, as opposed to how to date the best woman. You know what I mean? So you need to test and measure that as well.
Yeah, so pain and pleasure type of titles. And generally what I've heard or read is that pain-focused titles tend to attract people more at the front end. So what they need to avoid over how to do something. But I have always been a little bit more pleasure. driven in terms of designing my titles. So that's what I would say. So to test those 3 different sexy titles at 3 different times. So of course you're going to have to run 3 different events, and then collect feedback from what attendees have, how they felt, and you will know in the room intuitively whether people have had a great time by what they say, or how, if they come up and talk to you afterwards and ask more questions, or even if they take up that next offer. Always film yourself. Number one, to get feedback for your own, for yourself, to see where you can improve on. But also it works for instant product creation. So if that introductory event of what you've done turns out to be fantastic, then that's something that you can offer as an opt-in, where people give you their details to receive that weren't there in the room. And then every time you do an event, you will get better. And after each delivery, as we say here, adjust according to the feedback and the results that you have achieved. So it's so important to make sure that you are continuously getting out there and doing it. When you start out with low cost events, if say your target market is the public, of course it's different. It works different in the corporate setting of how you would go about. I mean, corporate would already be, say, well, it's one to many when you are speaking to a large audience, but some people work in corporate where they're coaching people one-on-one. Now, my expertise doesn't lie in that area because I've never come from that place. I've come more from the public system, and I always say to people, I'll never teach you something that I haven't done myself. So from the public sector, what I would say is, if you're getting lower numbers of attendees into your events, don't be disheartened, because actually that builds over time. And I always say this to people: in my first year of running events, I always need attract somewhere between 5 to 10 people. Then it grew to about 10 to 12, 10 to 15, then 15 to 20. And it was this year that I was getting numbers of 30 to 40 in my rooms. And with each year, your profile grows. You know more people end up referring to you, and that's how it happens.
And one of the things that we actually see very regularly, so I think it's a pertinent time to bring it up here, make sure that you're not actually sabotaging your own events and your ability to transition into one-to-many. I see so many people basically stop promoting it because they don't get any traction in the first 1 or 2 posts that they put up.
Yeah.
There's not much happening. So they go into their shell. They start telling themselves that it's not worth doing it. And then what's even worse is that even if they've got 2, 3 or 4 people, or even 1, they actually cancel the event.
Yeah.
So they're fully sabotaged their choice of moving forwards to get to where they want to go. And that's the worst thing that they can possibly do. So just check with yourself. Are you actually fully committed to this? Or is it something that you want to say that you've tried in business? So many people want to try something, but then actually not commit with it and follow through with it. So check yourself. For those, if you are in the coaching space or in the personal development space, just check in with yourself and make sure you're not actually sabotaging.
Yeah, and also, well, energetically, I believe if people think, oh, no one's going to show up, and they have that kind of a sense about it and not fully committed to actually...
No one will show up.
Yeah, no one will show up and no one will book. You'll just put it out there. Let me read a couple of comments. Andrea just said, now you can add to having abs of steel to your list. Laugh out loud. Yes, I can. And I did my exercise this morning, by the way. I just want to report back in. Katrina, would you limit your low-cost attendees? Yeah, always put a limitation on how many people can attend an event. That just gives that scarcity factor. And sometimes people go, oh, but what if there's more people than I said there would be? Well, what a good problem to have. Like, don't even worry about it. You'll figure out how to deal with it. Don't worry about I say, just say yes, and then you'll work out the how later. So that's what I would do. I would limit it. Yep, Andrea. Yeah, okay. And Con's got a question. How many free webinars events do you do before you decide that you now need to charge for it? Actually, Con, every single event that we do is now paid. Obviously, webinars we do. Our webinars are always free. aside from obviously our webinars to our inner circle, these kind of webinars where we come to the general public, they're always free. We never charge for them, because it's all about building a relationship and connecting with more people and just them getting to know us. But the ones that are live, where they're at a venue, we absolutely always charge at least, $27, $37, $47. My half day author event is $49, and people get a book with their ticket when they attend, and if it's at our home, they even get a meal. Simply because people need to be committed, and they need to invest in what you're doing. Because free events, I did have a go at running a hybrid style event of VIP tickets and free tickets with Robert Curry throughout this year, and that was the first time I had done free events, and it was horrible.
Last time you're doing free
and
events.
The last time I'll be doing free event. It was we had so many people. We had 3 pages of people on a list having registered for our event, and the turn up rate was 10 to 15%. So what I say to people, unless you've got a budget of hundreds of thousands of dollars that you can invest in Facebook advertising, and you can get, say,
understand that it is 10% that's going to turn up.
That's right. So 500 people register, 50 people are going to turn up. And even at that point, what the skill that is required to convert someone who has come in from with a free ticket to something paid is a lot. You need a lot greater skill, because people have not had any kind of skin in the game or a commitment. Whereas for people to commit to that next step, because what you're also doing with potential clients is you're getting them used to paying you. Because people, when people pay, they pay attention, right?
When they pay a lot,
they pay a lot of attention. And then when they don't pay attention. So that's what I always say. I trust that has been helpful. A couple of more comments while I've been talking. What is the maximum time you would hold a webinar for? From Katrina, 1.5 hours, 2 hours. No, 60 minutes would be your standard webinar. Today, we already, guys, told you from the beginning we may go over time, but I'm always respectful and always finish up for people within 60 minutes, because people don't have long attention spans. Right now, some of you may be checking your Facebook, you may be checking emails while you're listening to us, and you probably won't even capture anything that we're saying, because I know I've done it in the past where I'm not paying attention. I'm getting distracted into other areas. So even like the shorter, the better. That's why we do like 30-minute coffee chats on Monday mornings with the UBS, from the UBS big group. Short, sharp, get to the point, and let people move on. Sorry. Andrea says, do you think people see no value in free events?
They see no value.
Yeah.
There may be 2% of the population that would, and they'd say, if someone's honouring me and they're going to be putting on this event, they would. But 95 to 98% of people do not value free in anything that you do.
In anything that you do, even like a free session, or I have a free consultation, or whatever. If someone ever takes up a free consultation, they have an intention to buy. I believe they have got an intention. Well, I guess maybe I'm coming from myself, because they know they're gonna be sold to. They know that there's gonna be that next step. So if I ever went for a free consultation or low cost, I know that there's going to be a next step, but I'm already interested to see what that is. Earlier on, though, go on.
Okay, no, you go.
No, earlier on, when I didn't know what all of this was all about, perhaps I didn't know. So I think depending on where people are at.
That's true. Kerwin Ray says it the best. Kerwin Ray, though he's not doing, or he had a hiatus from live events for a while, he has started running some more again. So he runs a free event. He does that strategy of you can get a VIP upgrade, but predominantly the room, and he's same as him, he gets 10% turn up to it. So he sits in there. First thing he says when he gets in there, so guys, how many of you have been to a free event before? However many people put up their hand. How many people here know that I'm going to sell to you at this event? And half the people put up, and he goes, well, freaking hell, it's a free event. What do you think I'm going to do? Yeah. He just seeds it right from the start that it is going to be. But he says, I will only make an offer to you. It's going to be of high value. It's going to do this, this, and this. If you're not even prepared to hear what it is at the end, and you don't think you got value from today, leave the room.
Yeah.
So he just seeds it right from the start.
Yeah, and it's true. All right, let's keep going, and I'll come back to a couple more comments. But please keep typing them up, because when we stop, we've got something to work on with you guys. And otherwise, we'll just keep motoring on through all this. All right, so second one is timing. Okay, so now you've got the test and you're doing the test, but at the same time, you also, during that test, you must be ready with your next step, because what if you whet people's appetite with what you've presented and you go blah blah blah, and you're in reality, just think about your business. Can you solve someone's problem in a 2 or 3 hour period? Like, say Katrina, I'll use her as an example, because her comment just popped up. The question popped up just before, and I know Katrina. So Katrina's going to be mentoring bookkeepers on how to have more successful bookkeeping style businesses. Because she was very successful in hers. She had a number of staff. She then sold it last year, and she came away and wrote her book with us. So she's developing a different consultant type of business. So if she invited these people into an event, and I'm sure what she did over the however many years she was doing it, I can't remember, she couldn't teach someone what she knows in 2 or 3 hours. She probably can't even teach them in one day everything that she knows how to do. There's a certain period of time in order for you to transform someone else with what you're helping them with, similar with the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Program. Yes, people write their book within 48 hours, but they're really in our community, our network, and getting our support probably for a good period of 6 to 12 months, because there's the period before the book, the period after the book, and a lot of them, I guess, are in our community for lifetime, because they get lifetime membership of our inner circle, and they continue coming to the support calls and asking us questions as they grow and evolve through their business. So why am I saying this? Is because when you have got your test, well, what are you going to then offer that audience that has come into your event as their next step? So why should they? So that's why I've got this next thing is, well, why should they take the next step with you? Where is it going to be? How much? When? What are you going to deliver? And what sort of questions can you overcome for them that may be objections ahead of them actually having them come up? So you need to have everything ready in terms of logistics, or at least a framework of what something looks like as that next step, because you never know who's going to say yes and who's ready to take that next step with you. Now, initially, most likely you might not end up running huge groups where you're attracting 20 people into your high-end program. Just think, you get 20 people into a low-cost event, only a certain percentage of those people will be ready or willing to take the leap into that next stage, which is doing your high-end program. So, but you have to have that ready to be able to present it. Now, you don't have to have it created. Remember, you don't have to create it. You have to just know the logistics and have the picture and the vision of what it's going to be like in your mind. An example of this is when Robert Curry and myself were going around the country running our half-day hybrid events, free and VIP. So we knew we were going to run an Ultimate Marketing Masterclass at my home. Well, it ended up being at my home. But it was going to be a $5,000 program. It was going to be on the 19th and 20th of October. It was going to, be in Melbourne. And we had everything that we were going to cover. So the what, so we knew the when, the where, the how much, the what, obviously the why, because people wanted to scale up their marketing and take their business to the next level. And then we had our objections covered off as we were delivering that event. Now, had we created anything of this 2-day marketing masterclass? We had nothing. We had nothing but the logistical information. However, we had everything that people could commit and sign up. Our group ended up being 6 people, so we hosted it in my home. It was 2 12-hour days, and we committed to those that committed to us, and these are the people that actually got to enjoy such an intimate setting where they got so much value and individual attention. So I always say, you commit to those that come. If one person commits to my retreat in So whenever I think we've been at stages where we've had only a couple of people at a retreat, and it's been 2 or 3 weeks to go, and Stuart or someone else has asked me the question, are you still going to go ahead with it? And I said, of course I'm going to go ahead with it. This person has committed to me, I'm committed to them. I don't care what it looks like. I just want to go and do what I said and promised to do. So what I've been very big on since the beginning is I always follow through on my promises. Doesn't matter the size of the group. And a lot of you have heard me say that I have even spoken in front of a one-person audience. And luckily my mum and a couple of other people at that business came and sat as extra bodies in the room. But I have numerous times have done events that have been less than 5 people. And I think you've got to pay your dues in sometimes doing things like that before I guess the universe says that you're really committed into what you're doing to give you that to send more people your way, if you like. Be prepared for patience. Transition from one-on-one to one-to-many, as we said earlier, can take time. And it's not about being silly and going, oh, I'm just taking the leap. Look how courageous I am. It's about actually looking after that core, but also moving from one to the other, and just making sure that when you do it, it's the right time, and you haven't done anything silly to put your family or your own well-being, or what needs to be covered correctly for you. And as I say, know your dates like the back of your hand. Now, I didn't know my Sydney date off the top of my head right now because I'm in holiday mode. But throughout the year, if anyone asked me what dates, certainly I know my dates off like the back of my hand of my retreats, of my Ultimate Brand Accelerator masterclasses, those big events. I know them easily. A lot of the smaller ones, I know the next, say, 30 days. Like Sydney, I will know Sydney for sure from, from about the 15th of January. But generally, I'll know the next 2 dates for each city of when they're happening, because sometimes people ask me questions on Facebook and I go, yep, I'm going to be here at this time. Would you like to come? Here's a link. So when people are hot and heavy for you, you want to be able to just present what you need to present to them. You agree, Stu? Yeah,
I do.
You do. Okay, beautiful. Just one quick question from Katrina, and we'll go on to the next one. I was thinking of charging like $10 or $20 for our brainstorming sessions. Is there a stupid minimum price? What type of are these online brainstorming sessions, Katrina, or are they live? I want to know. Okay, well, she typed that back up. Let's go through the last one because I can see we're running out of time. Oh, she said webinar live. What I would design, Katrina, is not just kind of dip your toe in, come for one session, then don't come to the next one. I would design some kind of like a membership style where for 6 months you get to come to the brainstorming sessions, and it's going to be $19 a month or something like that. People need to have some kind of like a neat structure, a commitment for a certain period of time in order to feel like they're part of a process and it's going to get them from A to B. And she just said, perfect. Okay, beautiful. All right, traction to transition. So very briefly, we've covered off the fact that you've got to maintain your core until you're confident that one-to-many will become your core. And for us, it was when I had baby Zara, and that was me. Then I had more time to be able to build the one-to-many and to just work on the business. Certainly invest in learning from those that are doing one-to-many full time. So if you know people who are doing one-to-many successfully, then invest in learning on how they did it, because there's so many intricate details. I mean, we're really giving you a helicopter view over what this looks like. But to go into each of these points, there's probably another 10 sub-points to that. Like already, Katrina has asked quite specific and detailed questions around what you should be doing. So this is what we're talking about, is that you need to go into the detail of what all of this looks like. Otherwise, you don't have the full map of how to get to from A to B.
And if you're already working with a coach and your coach has never done one-to-many and they're only doing one-to-one, they're probably not the best person for you to be learning how to do it from because they haven't done it. So it might mean, not saying sack your coach, I'm just saying you might want to go and then go and talk to somebody else that has specialised in this area.
Yeah,
it's all about when you start to, to really scale your business and you're really wanting to start to make it something serious and something big, you really want to make sure that you're going and learning from someone else.
Cons just said, who have you learned from? Who have been some of your influences? Any authors or connections?
Kerwin Ray's great.
Yeah,
Kerwin Ray's someone that we've done a lot of his programs with before. So he's always done that one-to-many. So predominantly, I'd say from him, Kerwin Ray, R-A-E. He's Sydney-based.
And Terry Hawkins, way from 15 years ago, before I even knew anything about business, has been a big influencer. Obviously, I was a student of the Coaching Institute, and I learned a lot of things on how to run seminars, and actually became then a facilitator for them on how to run seminars for profit and all those kind of things. And a lot of for me, it's been just learn a few things from the experts, but go out there and get my hands dirty. So that's what I would say.
Liz Kerwin, KERWINRAE.
And Taryn's just recommended Dale Beaumont is great too. Yeah, Dale. I've been to intro event of Dale's. Just never did his program. So, but we've always had invested in programs every year into people to mentor us. So we've had 3 one-on-one mentors over our period. Spending 2.5 years with the first one, 6 with the next one, 6 with the following one, and other high-end programs we've done. So we've collectively, over the 6 years, have invested about 100K into mentors and education. Yeah. Taryn said she did his business blueprint program for 2.5 years. Was excellent, guys. Sorry, have to run. All right, Taryn. Awesome. Great to have you in the call. All right, guys. So next, consistently increase the events you speak, host, at, and run over time. So the ones that you so initially in your first year, you might run 5 or 6 events in total. Then double that and double it again and keep increasing. And of course, don't keep doubling it. There's only so much you can humanly possibly do, but then you can start refining. So what I'm doing now is actually working out which are the events that actually better quality over others. And initially, as we always say, you say yes to everything. Of course I'll come and speak here. Of course I'll come and speak there. But eventually you got to pick and choose where you're going to speak and which event's going to make you look the way you want it to look, and which event do you think is also going to give you a great return on investment.
I haven't seen it in there. Also, make sure you're connecting with influencers, guys. The more influencers that you can connect with, the more opportunities that you're going to have to get exposed to, great lists of people, their communities, their network. And not only that, you'll probably make great friends and learn from them a lot as you're going along too.
Yeah.
So look who are the influencers in your niche or are in a complementary niche to you.
Awesome. And then keep refining your high-end offerings. So what our Ultimate 48-Hour program looked like at first, offering to what it looks like now and how we sell it has changed over the years. It's been 2 years, but it has changed from time to time. I'm even now going to sit down and review my PowerPoint presentation that I ran of all of last year of my introductory event to the one that I'm going to do next year, because I feel I have now too many slides because I can elaborate and talk on so much. So if I actually go through all my slides, I could probably run those slides over a 2-day period rather than the 4 hours that I normally do it in. So keep refining over time, because it changes. You change and you actually are able to externalize a lot more of what you're doing a lot easier, and therefore you then struggle to keep things a lot tighter. And last of all, when you get to a certain point when you can have a certain budget to invest in targeted paid marketing, then you must do that, because about 18 months ago we felt that we have had exhausted our warm, let's say, warm leads or our community, our tribe that was around us. And what that meant is that we needed to get those fresh new people who had never heard of us from a bar of soap, because those are the people that we now needed to warm up and build the rapport, build the relationships with, so that they would then become clients in due course. So paid marketing is just part of the growth and the evolution to transition. So now we've got a full-time, so this is to continue answering Con's question, we work with a Facebook advertising person on a monthly retainer. So we believe he's our current mentor in this particular area on how to refine our paid advertising and actually what are our strategies. So it's not just like setting it up and maintaining it, but how are we going to strategize on what are we going to do, how many events, where, when should we start advertising, all of that sort of stuff. And a lot of you guys may have noticed a lot of Facebook ads, not in the last month because we've had them off, but for 10 months out of the year, they run pretty much full time. All right. There's no comments at the moment, so we'll keep going. So let's share our goals for 2016. Wow, I can't believe I'm scared sometimes to put up this slide about all the commitments that I'm going to make because I know I'm going to have to sit back and be held accountable next year. And you know what? When I make these commitments, I'm obviously not making the commitments so you guys would hold me accountable. But I believe these commitments are commitments to ourselves. And for me to break a commitment to myself is the biggest letdown. I don't care about letting you guys down or turning up next year and saying, oh no, I haven't achieved that. It's more about me. So here we go. So complete another 4 of our Ultimate 48-Hour Author Retreats, which you guys know we do 4 times a year, which will total 14 so far when I finish them, and 100 new authors committed to the program. So as we said, we had 53 commit to our program this year. So that's a big stretch to 100 new. However, I am testing, in addition to paid advertising, I'm testing 3 types of sponsorships. So this is how I've evolved from this year to next year. I'm adding on to paid advertising also, and another avenue of advertising, which is being a sponsor of 3 different awesome companies. So that is where I believe that I will have also bigger traction to grow these numbers. And as I say, look, if I get to 70 or 80, I'll still be super, super stoked. But I'm setting the goal at the nice round figure of 100. Then I'm increasing, obviously, the host, run, and speak at 100 events. So this is collectively running my own events, speaking as a guest, and obviously hosting events. So that's my goal, from 72 to 100. Stuart said to me, that's 1 every 3 days. I said, yeah, but sometimes I do like 7 in a 5-day period. So it's more intense sometimes, and other times it's a bit quieter. Complete 3 Ultimate Brand Accelerator Masterclasses. So these are scheduled for March, July, and October. So these are our 2-day events, which is our low end $247, and we want 75 participants plus at each of these. Last time we had 50, so I'm just gonna schedule set a goal for 75 plus. I've already got, I think, 32 scheduled for the March one, and a few for July and October. So they've started. I've got committed people to those. Then we're going to travel overseas mid-year for our mid-year break, and I believe we decided yesterday it's going to be Thailand. So we're going to go to Thailand, finish our home projects of our new house. So yesterday we sat down and we wrote a wish list for what home projects we need to finish around the pool and the backyard. It's mostly outside of the house, and it's about 10 items long. So we decided this year we won't do America, but we'll finish the home projects and go to Thailand instead. So that'll make it all more feasible. Then we've got a brand new program, a Bums on Seats Mastermind. So we are resuming this on the 28th of January at our home for 10 participants, obviously only Victorian based. And we've got 5 already committed. So we've got 5 more spots to get people into the Bums on Seats Mastermind, which will be an amazing program. where people get to hang out with us for 12 days in the year. So it's going to be quite intimate, and obviously it takes a good 12 months to master the art of getting people into rooms, and then grow our UBS community to 15,000. So it's very close to 12,000. So I'm adding another 3 to that, and our inner circle to 250. At the moment, it's sitting just over 150 over the next 12 months. So I think that'll do us for next year. It's a pretty big stretch. But as I say, it may look big now, but then you just put one foot in front of the other, and you just make it happen. Don't think about how overwhelming it can be.
Just for Nat, I just want to jump in here. There are a lot of people that we speak to, and I know there'll be some of you on the call. There might be sort of their ears pricked up about this sponsorship, and again thinking, well, at this stage in the business, I can't afford to do it. There are ways that you can actually sponsor events without you needing to put any money out on the table. So you could find a group. If you're a photographer, you find a group, someone that's running an event, and you go to them and you say, could I sponsor your event? I'll come and do all the photography for you for free. Okay, so you're getting exposure. They can mentioning you in all of their promotion that I'm going to be photographed by X, Y, and Z photographer. You go and do it for free. So is that a good investment? Well, you need to work out, is the exposure, is all of these other people that might be running their own events or might be X, Y, and Z need photographers to see you, see your personality, see you being out there. Is that a good return on your investment for, the day event or the half day event? I think if you're sitting around on your butt not doing anything else, it's a great return on investment. So there are definitely ways that you can sponsor other events without having to go and do what we're doing, which is putting money in our pockets.
Yeah. One big one that actually I'm very excited about to let you guys know of, I'm going to be a sponsor of the Professional Speakers Australia the annual convention on the Gold Coast next year, which is going to run for 4 days. And I'm going to be their diamond sponsor, which is only available to one business. At that level, they've got 5 levels of sponsorship. And the most exciting part of it is that they're going to name the Gala Awards dinner after Ultimate 48 Hour Author. So it's going to be the Ultimate 48 Hour Author Gala Awards dinner. So putting your name out there, getting the brand, getting mentioned, all of that, it can carry a lot of weight and a lot of goodwill, and you just have to work out. So we have collectively invested $27,000 into sponsorships now, and we're trusting that that's going to be a return on investment. I would say 24. Oh no, my figure for that is that would turn into $550,000 of business. That's what I'm intending over the 12 months. All right, so there is quite a few questions, but I'm just going to finish up what I was going to say. There's questions for links and things like that, which I will send you guys in a minute. But let me tell you what we're going to do. A lot of things are changing for us in the next, obviously, up from the first. The rules changed, the prices changed, everything that we do, well, not everything, but our special 500 book bonus of our Ultimate 48 Hour Author program, which we were able to offer people the last 6 months, expires end of tomorrow, and from January 1 we go back to the standard 100 books with our program. For those of you that have spoken to me about books, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't, no point in even thinking about it, taking action on this. It's only for those that have perhaps already considered our program and you know what that means. But basically it's going back from 500 books to 100 because the publishing costs have increased. But this is, Stuart and I have set aside a few 20-minute time slots over the next 2 days, today and tomorrow morning, to talk to people about, and we did this exact thing last year, and we were inundated. We spoke to over 30 people, and we did a rapid assessment power call. So we did them together last year, but because we don't have my mum on hand, we have to do them separately. So you would get me or Stuart, And what we want to do is help people and recommend them a best plan of attack for 2016. Then suggest the 3 key growth areas that they should focus on based on where you are. And then discuss a best fit program to help achieve your goals in 2016. So you've heard us talk about our inner circle. I know Adele has said, what is this inner circle and how do you become part of it and all that sort of stuff. So there's our inner circle, which is we advertised yesterday as a once a year. I do a annual membership for $497 of the inner circle, and I posted it up in the UBS page. If anyone is interested in that, I'm going to pin that post to the page after the call, and you can read up about what all of that is after this. And Adele, I can put your name in there. You guys have heard us talk about the Ultimate Brand Accelerator Masterclass. That's $247 for 2 full days of training. You've heard us talk about the Bums on Seats Mastermind. You've heard us talk about the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Program. So obviously there's 3 or 4 programs that at different levels of investments that people would be suited to. So what we would do in this 20 minutes is give you some actionable steps. If you don't want to do anything with us, so be it. Just go and take those 3 key growth areas you need to focus on and do those. If you do, then we will discuss a best fit program to help you achieve your goals in 2016. And I will also email you as bonuses the Ultimate Secrets to Goal Setting Success ebook that I had written and my 1,000 Days to $1 Billion Coaching Business from Home book. Okay, if you have got that book already, I'm happy to do another book because I know some of you who already last year, you might have it. So you can have the Ninja Couch Marketing book or the Ultimate 48-Hour Author book or the Weight Loss book, whichever one you want. Okay, so the investment is just $37 and it's valid till obviously tomorrow. So how do you do this? We have set up 2. Let me just now, I'm going to post these in the chat box. So there's a link here of booking in this is how you book your appointment, which already has times we've pre-selected. So I've just put this in the chat box to everyone. So that's that time trade account. And the second link is for the payment of the $37 via PayPal. So I'm going to put that there. Now, some of you have asked just before for the link for the Ultimate Brand Accelerator Masterclass. I don't know who it was. I think it was Andrula. Andrula, I will post that up as well. I'm just opening up my list for that event where I have got the link. Where is it? A masterclass. The 22nd and 23rd of March. And this is my list of people who are coming. Copy. All right, I'll send you that. And paste there. That's the masterclass as well. So I've sent you guys 3 links on there. And what basically the one last thing I'm going to say is that if you cannot make any of the calls on 30th or the 31st, we still want to talk to you. The 2 prices, the 2 things that are just changing is the 48-Hour Author Program with the book quantities, and the Bums on Seats Mastermind is changing by $1,000 in terms of its the investment. The investment of Bums on Seats Mastermind for 12 months for 12 days is $6,997. It's going to $7,997 from the first. And we have no doubt that'll be full. But there is also a interstate live streaming version that's going to change by $500. So if it's not one of those 2, you can still, obviously still talk to us at any other time outside of the 31st. All you will have to do is make your payment of the $37 via the PayPal button, and then Stuart and I will email you or Facebook you or whichever way, and we're going to say, okay, let's sort out a time that suits us both. So you don't necessarily have to fit into the 30th or the 31st of December time slots. We can do, obviously, other dates after the 1st that will suit us both, you and I, and we can do our 20-minute power call to establish where you will fit best, and that way we can explain everything properly to you. So usually that call would go 15 minutes discussing your situation, working out your three key growth areas, and then 5 minutes into giving you an option. And we always like, nice and quick. And for those of you that want to be on board, put you on board, and the rest is wish you well in 2016. All right, so let's look at questions. We have managed to get this in, just scrape it into in on time. So question time is, let me open my box. Okay, Grace just said I'll be fine about my goals. Laugh out loud. I've already posted the Brand Accelerator Masterclass thing and I've had a few payments come through from people. So they're just buzzing on my phone right now. Great stuff. Thanks, Natasha, from Paul. All right, Adele, I already sent you that. Okay. Andrea, thanks. I'd love to take that up. All right, you've got the link. That's cool. You're welcome. Okay, I'm just writing, putting my inner circle payments through once Sophia is in bed from Grace. Yeah, Grace, that inner circle, by the way, guys, that inner circle annual membership gives you a entry into the 2-day Brand Accelerator Masterclass. So remember the one that I said was $247. Well, if you become an Inner Circle member for $497, you get to come to the 2-day as a bonus. So that's the one that I'm going to pin on the UBS big group after the call today. Okay. For the year program too. All right, Andrea, we'll have a chat, you and I. Andrea, thanks, Nat and Drula. Joe, how can we get the recording of the last few years? Oh, Joe, they would be all on my YouTube channel. I just wouldn't be able to go through. If you can be bothered going through all the videos, but they're public and they're up there on YouTube. Okay. All right.
Lorraine, you're in trouble.
Lorraine, I'm just going to put back that slide so you can have a look. All right. Of this talk, I mean, Joe. This recording, guys.
No, of the previous years. I think that's Joe was a continuation of the previous.
Okay, yeah. So that's on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Can you check my time, please? That's it for 1:30. Not. Yes, I will. Okay, I'll check, Grace. I'll message you. Woohoo! Thank you. I'll book the masterclass for late 2016. Perfect. Okay, and Joanna, thanks, guys. Really looking forward to filling up my planner and seeing you in May at retreat. Yay! Happy New Year to you too. All right, Lorraine, I hope you've read the slide just now. So there you go. I've had a lot of different PayPal payments. So we're going to get on. So you'll either get me or Stuart on the call, depending on obviously who's free and who's the other one that will juggle the kids. So Lorraine just says, yes, rapid assessment. We'll do PayPal. Okay. All right, that's cool. So all the links are in there. Okay, cool. At 1:30, I'll talk to you more about Okay, cool. Awesome, Andrea. All right, perfect. All right, gorgeous people. I trust. Oh, hang on. My last slide, my finale slide is never allow waiting to become a habit. Live your dreams and take risks. Life is happening right now. Happy New Year. Have an awesome night. Don't drink too much. I can't drink. I'm on antibiotics now. But hopefully I could have a couple of drinks on our holiday when we go. Happy New Year, everyone. Sending a Happy New Year. Love it. We've really enjoyed having you in our community. See you on UBS. See you at an event around the country next year. I'm so excited. And I can't wait to talk to you guys. Happy New Year, everyone! I can't say enough Happy New Year to all of you guys because too many comments have come up. All right, we'll talk to you guys and connect with you again next year. Bye. Love to all.